Hey everyone, it's Lexi and you're watching Enlightened Living. Thank you so much for pressing that play button and allowing me to be a part of your
day, your night, or somewhere in between.
Tools for Transformation is the mission for Enlightened Living, to provide you with things that you already have inside of you, raise awareness of the role that each individual plays in this world that we are responsible for, to help people realize that they have the ability to become and create whatever they want. The only thing that's holding you back is
yourself.
To go from an ordinary life to an extraordinary or extraordinary life, one of the key points in that video was to be in the present moment, and to be grateful was the second. To go back to the first is to be in the present. I reference that quite often in multiple videos, and that's something that we speak of very highly in our home, the importance of being in the present moment.
What does that really mean, and what are the benefits of it?
Knowing that just being in the present moment does not mean that you don't think about your future. There is a time and a place for everything. Say you're planning for your future. When you are sitting down and articulating a plan, what career choice you want, what job you want, what college you would like to go to, that is important. We should always plan for our future. What we don't want to do is allow that choice that we have nothing to do with affect our present time, our present moment, and our present mood. When you are planning for your future, for example, and you're sitting down, even planning your week in advance, that is a time and place that you have allotted for that planning period. Whatever you need to do to make sure that nothing gets in the way of that task at hand. There is value to planning. However, make sure that the stress of planning is not affecting your life, and when you are doing something, you are doing it 100%. From start to finish, 100% in that task, in that moment. Things are a lot more effective, efficient, and you have a sense of achievement. You don't want to open the tab when you cannot fully be present and give that 100% of your time. This is a personal thing that will affect you and project out into everything that you do.
Depression, anxiety
is at an all-time high. It is so easy to make connections. So why are we suffering from depression, from mental illness, from anxiety? If we have social media, we can go out to dinner, we go to work, we have connections there. FaceTime, where we can see people that are across the other side of our country, and we can make these intimate connections. There's fast transportation to get places, but
something is missing.
Everyone is so available all the time that it almost now seems to feel as if we can never get a minute of complete solitude by ourselves without our phone beeping, a notification going off. There's always some form of connection being made.
What are we lacking?
We are lacking a connection to ourselves. I think that's why a lot of our interactions with so many people feel empty at times. For the past 6 months, I've been saying this, and I have used it as an affirmation, a declaration, and something that I set a boundary for myself and my relationships. It is, I require deep and meaningful connections, and I will only allow deep and meaningful connections. If I cannot have a deep and meaningful connection with people, I would rather not have one at all. Now, being in the grocery store, an acquaintance relationship, that's fine. I'm not saying I won't care for people, but when it comes to being a friend, for me is a deep and meaningful connection. Learn from them and then learn from me. How can we still feel lonely when we're actively engaging with so many other people? We are forgetting about the quality of connection, and that's why I require deep and meaningful connection. It's okay to set that boundary for any relationship that you have. I require deep connection. I require meaningful connection. To me, that holds a lot of value, because that comes down to how I value myself. When I only require those type of connections, then I realize I hold value in someone else's life as well as they hold value in my life. If this is something that you seem to struggle with, maybe you need to set that boundary for yourself as well. And when you start understanding the value that presence and people, you and the others being present brings to your life, you will start requiring that from everyone. As you start to raise your awareness of being present, becoming more present, and respecting that about everyone else too, and expecting that, you will start to realize and zone in on people that do that as well. So to some people, being present may not seem so important. To others, it makes a monumental difference to human interaction. It's not just looking them in the eyes and being there, sitting across the table from them, having lunch, and just having your body there. Sometimes people who are physically sitting inches apart from each other are not present in their time together at all. Why? Because their minds are elsewhere. They're on their phone, they're focusing on the table next to them. They are inches apart and worlds apart in mental space. They aren't really focusing on what's happening right in front of them. I encourage you today, and I challenge you to focus on the quality of your connections and to make sure that the connections you're making with others, that they're focusing their quality of connection onto you. It's time that we really understand that lonely and alone are two completely different things. They are not at all the same thing. You may not be physically alone, but when you are not given that presence from someone that is right beside you, you can feel lonely. That is one of the deepest fears that I have in a marriage, in a relationship with my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, my sons. Not alone time, but to feel lonely with my family. If the person spends less time with me, I'm fine. As long as the time that's spent with me is meaningful and they are present. Because it's all about the quality of time with the certain people, and you want to make sure that the quality is there versus quantity. If the person's spending more time checking their phone and every time it beeps to just looking at it while we're engaging in a conversation, mid-sentence they check their phone after it dings. That to me, it's very frustrating, and I realize that my time is not being taken seriously. It is not quality to them. It is not valuable to them, and therefore they are not in the present. When they come back to the conversation, they have no clue what I said. I usually just continue the conversation even after the person has checked their phone, and then I get a response once I've stopped talking that's like, yeah, oh, wow. No thought or effort is going into their response. They're not engaging in a conversation with me. Although having information at our fingertips all the time is awesome, and it really makes a difference in the way that we think and do things. I mean, even right down to a recipe. Everything is at our fingertips. Chores for your kids, how to have a better relationship with your spouse, whenever we want it, wherever we want it. A lot of us get caught up in the constant feeding of information and the constant access of people and information. Sometimes we forget that little gestures, things like being present and truly listening, engaging in conversation, how much that truly matters and the impact it can truly have, can really grow each relationship drastically and improve relationships exponentially. We end up taking the present completely for granted. We are all guilty of it, especially if you haven't made it a priority in your life. Our kids, our spouse, our parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers, cousins, and even people that we're comfortable with, down to our best friends, when they come over and it's like you haven't missed a beat, those are the people that we really want to be conscious that we are being present, we're engaging 100%, because if they're not here one day, we aren't going to remember the facial expressions that they had, the way that their voice peaked when they got excited, they moved their hand when they were talking, a particular outfit or necklace that they had on. If we are present, we really are able to zone in, but when we're not there fully 100% present and we are so easily distracted by, what does that say? That says that we aren't really allowing our brain to process what is happening right now. We are making it like it's not that big of a deal. Although that's not truly how we feel, that's how our brain is going to process it. Those people that are always there, we should pay the most attention to. I encourage you today to take a minute and slow down and get back to the basics and get back to the importance of life, importance of people that hold value in your life, love for you and you for them, without any egotistical crap. Who's there in times that you need someone? Those are the people you start with. You start with making sure that they know how valuable they are, how important they are, how important their time is to you. When you're present, they will see such a difference of your time together. Understanding the people in your life. If we stop focusing on a million other things around us, we are able to understand things that might have annoyed us before or might have just had us on a short fuse. Make it a point to learn them in a different way because they're evolving too, just as you are. Do you know the new version of them, and do they know the new version of you? When the little things are noticed, it makes a huge difference in your life because you start seeing things in the light that they are. People will notice. I promise you that. Try complimenting someone on uncommon things that you wouldn't normally compliment them on. Not because you are trying to look for that. It's because when you're present, you start to notice things that you wouldn't have normally noticed, and it could change someone's entire day. Even repeating certain words or phrases someone says that acknowledges that you are in the conversation, you did hear them, will really make the person stop and think,
Wow.
it's a positive thing. The best present you can give is the gift of being present.
Boom.
Make people feel appreciated. In return, you will become more appreciated. Those feelings of appreciation will be reciprocated back to you. I challenge you to start practicing the tips about being present, and you'll realize the value of human interaction again. We could make someone feel so much more important just being present. Find the good, the unnoticed. Start living in the present. Thank you so much for tuning in. I very much appreciate your constant love and support. If you're a new subscriber, welcome and thank you for joining. And if you already have subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of our mission to raise the vibration of the world. And I appreciate you. I love you all. See you next time.